What's up, guys? Happy Monday workout here. Hopefully you guys can hear me all right. Got David kind of vacuuming in the back. So this little workshop video won't be super long. We're doing a 4-day workshop here where in this little workshop, we're going to really dive into posture and posture-related things, and some of the things that you can start to do to improve your posture, improve your fitness, and different aspects of health and wellness through posture. I know it's a big thing that a lot of our members here at Raw or people that first come in tend to struggle with. So we really try to specialize in, corrective exercise work, different things that we can do to just get the body moving more efficiently, moving better. And that's kind of what we want to do today is start our posture-related series. It's going to be 4 days. So tonight, 7 o'clock, obviously, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of this week, all at about 7 p.m., where we're going to dive into a specific topic related to posture and different things that you can do. Now, if you see below, I just tagged a link in here, and that is to download our Posture Reset program. So it's an in-depth version of what we're going to talk about today, where there's a specific couple tests that you can do on yourself to deem if there's any issues or obstacles that you may be having with your posture or dysfunctions in the joints, and a corrective exercise program that you can do with that. So we highly encourage, if you haven't downloaded that yet, click the link. It's free. Just click on it. You'll just fill out like an email information so we can send it to you. And it's a PDF format. You can kind of read through. There's a lot of really good stuff in there. So if you're somebody that just wants to improve your performance, improve your posture, if you just want to perform better, look better, because improved posture will help with aesthetics, I highly encourage you to download that and get started with that there. So what we're going to talk about today will be maybe a little bit longer than the other videos, because I'm going to go a little bit into the posture. So posture essentially is how your body holds itself up against gravity. So this could be in a seated position, this could be standing. There's a lot of different aspects, and each day we're going to touch on a different thing that you can start to do to improve your posture, with Thursday being more like lifestyle hacks that you can start to implement in your everyday life to better improve your posture, whether it be from sleeping, sitting, all of that. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment, and I'll respond to them or answer any stuff that you have. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have on posture or joint issues or anything like that, at least to the scope of my practice and what I can do to help you. Structure is a complex situation, so it's not always black and white. There's a lot more that goes on with it, but I can help as much as I can. So if you're interested in posture, this is something that would really benefit you. Please give us a like, give us a little heart. Let us know that this is something that you're looking forward to using, and we'll kind of jump into it. So we talked about, I already talked about posture and what it is, but it's essentially the structure of your body and how it holds itself up. There's a thing called length-tension relationships around all the joints, where it's essentially opposing muscles that attach to the joint that should have equal tension on the joint. But what happens is, over time, because of lifestyle factors, things like sitting too long, things like overuse, so like people that paint or swim or whatever that use their shoulders or tend to overuse those, or people that sit at a desk that are very kyphotic, right, kind of hunched forward like this, will really tend to have different types of dysfunctional issues in the joints when it comes to their posture. So a couple things that you can do or to look at is what's called a joint by joint approach. So every next joint in the body, so ankle to knee to hip and subseeding up the line, is either a mobility joint, and then the next one is a stability joint. And then mobility, stability, mobility, stability. And what that does is, a lot of times people have issues in like the stability joints or aspects of the body. So like the low back, the the knees, where they're not meant for mobility, they're more meant for stability. And the reason is because we lack the mobility in the surrounding joints. So if you have low back issues, you may very well have issues stemming from your hips or your upper back, and you lack the mobility there. Rose, yes, it'll help your hip alignment for sure to some capacity. So when it comes to posture, if it's functional in terms of like I mentioned, the length tension relationships of the muscles are surrounding the joints. If it's something associated with that, where like one muscle is really tight, the other muscle is really weak, then yes, it will for sure help you. If it's structural in terms of coming from the spine, where your spine is out of alignment, then this can only go so far, and you need to work with a specialist in terms of like some type of specialist chiropractor. We tend to work a lot with Apex Chiropractic in Shelby. So if you're not working with anyone, we really recommend them. They do a really good job, and they do more than your typical just like crack you and send you on your way. They have more of an actual program. So it'll definitely help with that though, and at least make sure that the issue doesn't get worse for sure. So some of the common issues I mentioned: forward posture, head falling forward from texting all the time, sitting too much so the hips become really tight. These are a lot of common issues, and they generally come about for, like I said, overuse, just lifestyle situations and all that. The things that we're going to go over here over the next 4 days is to help combat some of that. So I talked about the joint by joint approach, where there's a mobility joint and then a stability joint. Well, what you want to do, especially with the mobility joints, is, I'll show you here and stand up. If my ankle, right? If my ankle is supposed to flex so much here, right? But it lacks mobility, so this is as much as it can flex. Well, when I go to squat down, my ankle, instead of going here, is only restricted to here. Well, now my body's going to compensate, and I'm gonna try to get down lower in another variation. So maybe it's trying to push through the knees. Maybe it's more hinging back, putting more pressure on the lower back. Your body is very smart in terms of it finds a way to make a movement happen. So what we want to do is we want to loosen up or, lengthen the muscles that are very, very tight and overworking. So, somebody that sits at a desk all day, right? Or, if you work, so we're here in Washington Township. If you live in Washington and you got to drive 45 minutes downtown, Detroit to work, then you got to sit there for 8 hours and drive all the way back. So you're sitting for 9, 10, 11, 12 hours a day. Well, these hip flexors here, which is a mobility joint, become very, very tight, right? So what that happens is it tilts your pelvis forward, flexes the back part of your pelvis up, and you get what's called a Donald Duck, or I call it a Donald Duck, where your butt kind of sticks out, your lower back arches a lot. Your hips then become very, very tight and restricted. Well, what happens then is your lower back gets really tight, so you may have some low back issues. Your hips are very tight, but then your core and your butt muscle, your glutes, tend to get very weak, and they kind of shut off. So what happens over time is, it's actually, this specific one's called a lower cross syndrome, is these muscles here become really tight, and they do a lot of the work, and then these muscles, the glute and the core, tend to be underactive, and they... Good old live video. Hopefully I'm still on here. Somebody just called me. I don't know, on my phone. So what we want to do in this program, and if you scroll up and see that link, this is what this is all about. It's a more in-depth version where you can test it on yourself, and there's a succeeding corrective exercise program that you can do with this to help you with all of this. But is you want to loosen up those tight muscles and then strengthen those weak muscles, and that's what we're going to help you with here. So all of these different things are going to affect your movement, affect your aesthetics, affect a lot of different things in your overall body, how you feel, right? If I'm kyphotic, so if I sit at a desk all day and I'm rounded forward, well, look at how my midsection kind of gets shrunken down and kind of pushed down on. Well, that's going to put excess pressure on your organs. So that can affect your hormones. That can affect your digestive system. That can affect a lot of things happening here just because your posture is poor. So improving your posture has more benefits than just saying like, I'm going to have less knee pain when I squat, right? There's a lot of benefits to it. So what I want to do today is I want to go over the first part, and there's kind of 3 parts to this that we'll go over Monday, then tomorrow, and then Wednesday we'll finish with that part. And the first part is what's called soft tissue work. So soft tissue work is kind of like the poor man's massage. So massages are very beneficial. If you don't get one regularly, I'd always recommend for you to do that. What massage does is your muscles respond to putting pressure on them. What it does is it teaches the nervous system to tell that muscle to relax. So I'll go back to, thank you, Anita. You're awesome too. We'll go here. So if my hips are very, very tight, that neurologically, so my brain is sending a signal to that muscle all day long from sitting all the time to turn it on, because that puts you in this position. So what we want to do with soft tissue work is put that pressure on there, hold it on there, and teach the body and the nervous system to relax that area. That is one of the benefits of massage. There's also like breaking up scar tissue, improving circulation, blood flow, mobility, flexibility in the muscle, all of that stuff. But that's one of the key components. So what I want to do when it comes to soft tissue work here is I want to go over how to do it and what tools you would need, and then what are some of the main areas that you should target to do. So when you're doing soft tissue work, essentially what you're going to do is you're going to get a hard piece of equipment. So generally we recommend either a lacrosse ball, okay? A lacrosse ball like this, it's very hard and firm. You could use a tennis ball, it's just not quite as effective, but a lacrosse ball works really well, or a foam roller. So foam rollers like this, we have the short ones, you can get longer ones too. This one, you can't really tell, but it's very firm, it's not very soft. You can get different variances of intensity of how thick these are, or how solid they are. The more solid they are, the deeper it's going to get into your tissue, so it's going to work more into it. But if you're new to this, maybe start with a lot lighter one, and that's okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to take one of these tools, you're going to go over one of these key areas that I'm going to mention here just now, and you're going to make sure that you're going to go over slowly. So think you're going to move about 1 inch per second, okay? Anytime you find a tender spot, so anytime you kind of like takes your breath away for a second, stop, relax, try to relax that muscle specifically, and then take some deep breaths, okay? Your body's going to want to tense up because it feels pain, right? It is going to be pretty painful at times. That's normal, right? You might kind of have to work through that a little bit, or go at whatever comfort level you can. But once you get to that tender spot, put pressure on it, relax, breathe, and let it kind of work its magic there, and you're just going to hold it there, okay? So I recommend to do each area for 30, 60, even 2 minutes, holding on those tender spots whenever they come about, okay? That is essentially what soft tissue is. So all of these key areas, I'll explain how it can benefit you or why you might have issues here, or what you may notice because you have issues here. We just have you do it for 30 seconds, upwards to 2 minutes, stopping on it, holding, breathing, relaxing that muscle. So the first one is going to be we're going to work our way down is our upper trap. So that's this upper neck muscle. A lot of people hold a lot of tension here. This muscle kind of hikes your shoulders up, but it also is part of pulling your shoulders forward and pulling your head forward, okay? So doing this, if you sit at a desk all day long, this is a really good one to do. If you tend to have shoulder issues, this is, again, a really good one for you to do. If you have neck or, even different things with the neck and head and all that, I would encourage you to do this. If you sit at a desk and you don't have issues, I would still encourage you to do this. So what you're going to do, I like to do it on the ground, where I'm going to put it up here in this upper neck region, and then I'm just going to put that pressure on it. How I like to do this one is I take my arm, pull it across my body so I can really open up that area, and then just slowly go over that top part of the back. Again, anytime I find a tender spot, I'm going to relax, breathe, and hold it there. Okay? So that's the first area. That's for people that have neck shoulder issues, people that are very kyphotic, all of that. Give me a thumbs up if you can still hear me, guys. I want to make sure I'm still on there. Our next one, I'll look for kind of the thumbs up hearts here, is our chest. So this again is one of the muscles that kind of pulls us forward, is the upper chest. If we're sitting at a desk all day here, it tends to really get bad and really tight. So what you want to do is up against the wall, so like this. I'm going to kind of hug my wall here, but essentially pretend the ball's on the wall. I'm going to outstretch my arm here. Okay, I'm going to have this ball just in my upper chest, so like right above my collarbone. Okay, I know women are watching this like, what? How am I going to do that? Just right above the collarbone here is where you need to go. You'll see it. It's like a small, thin kind of muscle here that we're trying to hit. Just kind of slowly go back and forth horizontally. Okay, really outstretching that arm. Again, any tender spot, try to hold it there. If that's too intense, you can just take the ball and just do it this way. That might be plenty enough tension for you. Okay, and I would do both sides. If you have issues on one side more than the other, you can do that. But again, that helps with rounded shoulders, kyphotic posture, sitting at a desk all day long. The last one for the upper body here is your, kind of like your scapular muscles, your things that like externally rotate the shoulder out. Different aspects here is right here kind of behind the armpit. So it's a little bit lower. So the first one I showed you is your upper trap up here above the shoulder blade. This one's kind of inside the shoulder blade here. So same thing, I'm going to kind of lay on it. Okay, here, slowly roll over. You'll find like a little divot. Hopefully you can see the ball there. You'll find a little divot like right kind of behind your armpit. That's generally where you'll feel it. But everybody's a little bit different, and there's different muscles in these key areas. So you're going to kind of have to move it around, find, again, where you find a tender spot. Once you find it, try to relax. Take some big, deep belly breaths. Let your body sink into it. Your body's going to want to do the opposite. It's going to want to tense up because it feels pain. I encourage you to relax. Try to really work in there. Okay? Now we're going to work down to the lower body. So this first one is your piriformis. This is a muscle that, people with back pain, hip pain, different things here. If you struggle even with knee pain, this can have an effect. And definitely with back pain, this can be affected. It's a small, thin muscle here. Like here's my hip bone, the top of it. It's like right below it, like right through here. So what I'm gonna do, this one's pretty intense. Is I'm gonna take it. This is my right side here. I'm gonna right below my hip bone up top. I'm gonna lean on that right side. From there, I'm gonna take my right leg, cross my right leg over my left. So I'm here, crossing it over here. If that's too intense for you, you can scoot your leg out so it's not as far in. Okay, like this, it's more out. Or you can just sit here and kind of bring your knee down and just work through there. That might be plenty enough for you right now. And just work your way back up to this position. But again, if I'm on my right side, I'm crossing, taking my right leg over my left knee. And then this is, again, one that's pretty intense. So your body's going to want to tense up. Try to relax. Let your body sink into that ball. Anytime you find that tender spot, relax and hold it. Okay? So that's your piriformis. That really helps a lot of people with back pain, hip pain, different things there. Now, we're going to work our way down. We're going to go to one of your hip flexors, your TFL. So if I'm going to take the ball, here's my hip bone, the corner of my hip bone, that bony part of the hip, and go right below that, slightly to the outside. All I'm going to do here, it's a very small, like fat kind of muscle there. It's not very big. You're just going to lean on it here, just below that hip bone. You can go down a little bit, down towards the leg, just wherever you find that tightness. Again, it's right down here. It might be hard for you to see, but it's right here below my hip bone on the side slightly. That's your hip flexor. So that's a lot of the muscle that flexes your hips up. You know, for if you're one of those that have knee pain, back pain, or you sit a lot, this is a really good one for you to do. Okay? The next two I'm going to show you with the next three I'm going to show you with a foam roller. You can do it with the ball as well, but it's a little bit easier with a foam roller. So these are going to be, you know, these ones are going to affect those, especially with knee issues. Okay, these are really affecting the knee. So first one is the quadricep. That's your front thigh and even the side of it. All you're going to do is lay on it here, kind of in a plank position, and again, slowly roll from the knee to the hip. You can go on the front. You can go here on the side, kind of hold yourself in a side plank. Again, any time you find tenderness, stop, hold it there, relax, and breathe. Okay, very, very important. Hold it there as long as you want. You can go more than 2 minutes on a spot. It's up to you. So you're going to do that. Now, through all of these, you never want to go over the joint. Okay, you want to stay on the fascia, the muscle, not over the joint. So like on the quad, you want to go down to the knee, but not over the knee. Up to the hip, but not over the hip. Okay? Second one down here in this lower body is our inner thigh. This one's kind of goofy. You're going to lay on your stomach, extend I'm doing it with my right leg. Hopefully you can see it. I have my right leg out to the side. Okay? The foam roller is horizontal with my upper body, and then I'm just going to slowly roll from my knee up through my groin. You may find a lot of tenderness up in that groin, or you may find a lot, for me, I find it a lot right above the knee on the side. Okay? Hold, again, if you find any tender spots, hold it there. This is one of the muscles that internally rotate the leg or kind of flex in the knees. So a lot of people with knee issues, especially women have what's called a higher Q angle, where it's the angle from your hips to your knees because you have wider hips for birthing purposes. So this will cause more what's called knee valgus with your knees caving in. So like when you squat or bend down, where the knees kind of cave inward here. This inner thigh, this adductor muscle is really pulling in. So this is trying to teach it to relax and not do so much and get the glutes firing more, which we'll talk about on Wednesday. So that's that. And then the last one is our calves. So this is your lower leg. So this can affect really a lot of things. A lot of people that lack mobility in the lower leg tend to have issues, especially in the knee and the back. Because that ankle can't flex fully. So when they squat, lunge, bend down, they can't get a full range of motion there. So their body kind of compensates through the back or the knee. If you wear high heels or any type of heels, if you have to walk a lot, if you're a runner, if you deal with plantar fasciitis, this is a really good one for you to do. So I'm here rolling from the ankle up to the knee, again, slow. If you find a tender spot, hold it there. If you want to make it more intense, you can lift your butt off the ground, and you can even cross this leg to put more pressure on it. That's a lot more intense, but you can do that there. So those are our key areas. That's our 7, I think I have, key soft tissue areas that I recommend to work on to improve your posture. I know, I'm so tan, aren't I? But what you can't see, Chris, is how much I'm peeling right now. If you can start doing those, or if you have any of the issues, or if you're just jumping on now, you can go back and watch what this is all about. This is day 1 of our 4-day workshop. I also posted a link above. You can scroll up, and it's an actual program that you can download for free. There's a couple self-tests that you can put on there or do for yourself. You can determine if you have any issues in the joints that maybe you can work on, and we give you the program for you to work on that. So it's very beneficial. It's a very cool program, and it's free for you guys. So you can click on that. Download your free copy there. But that's round 1, guys. Tomorrow we're going to go to the next step, the phase 2 in our 3-part corrective program to improve our posture. If you have any questions, you're watching at a later date, feel free to comment on here. I'll go back and answer any questions, all of that. Again, if you haven't yet, download the free thing. It's a more in-depth version and one you can test on yourself and create. There's a program within there that you can download for free there. I bet, Chris, skiing takes a toll on there. So give us some likes, guys. Give us some hearts. Let us know if this is beneficial for you. Hopefully you got some value out of this, and you can start using some foam roll techniques or soft tissue work. But yeah, hopefully this was good for you. If you have any questions, feel free to let us know. You're very welcome, Doreen. Again, give us some likes and hearts. Let us know that this was beneficial for you. Thank you, guys. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. to go into that next phase of our corrective program here.